Why do Americans do the things they do? We can ask that about any culture, but in this video, we'll look specifically at Americans. The things we do, the things we say. If you're a foreigner, you may have asked this question many times about many things. If you are American, it's worth it to stop and consider what puzzles people from other countries around the world and why we do those things. So in this video, I'm going to share 3 resources for better understanding why we do the things we do, and then I'll give you a great idea for getting more feedback from foreigners about the everyday things you do in your life without even realizing it. My name is Brenda. I'm a specialist in cultural diversity, and I'm very interested in this question of why Americans do the things they do, because I, originally from Seattle, have been living abroad in Spain for 25 years. I'm married to a Spanish man, and my children have been raised here. So I spend a lot of time explaining why Americans do the things they do. On this channel, we make videos about all aspects of cultural diversity with an aim for making your life more fun and more fascinating. So the first resource is very simple, very well known, and it's my favorite. It's the iceberg. When my kids ask me, why do people in the United States talk to random people in the supermarket, in line, and at the checkout? Well, that's like the above the iceberg culture, which is so interesting to observe. But rather than just tell them, hey, that's the way we do it, that's the way it is there, I like to take them way below the surface, all the way down to the bottom of the iceberg, the culture iceberg, and look at the beliefs that we have in the United States. I truly believe that this custom, this habit that we have of talking to what my kids call random people is an expression of our belief in equality, and that our in-group it sort of should include everyone, and that leads us to value, cultural values that we place on openness, reaching out to others, just kind of being open with people around us. And of course, then that creates all kinds of social and cultural norms that make it okay for us to talk to complete strangers, even though we do tell our kids not to talk to strangers, but that's another story. So even though this is so well known, I just want to bring it up here and remind everyone that this is such a great tool. When foreigners ask us, why do you do that? Or why do so many people here? I see everybody doing this or that. Well, let's take them below the iceberg, and let's take the time ourselves to try to think and identify those beliefs that we take for granted, the values we live by that we don't even realize, and all these social norms that are invisible and that are operating in our life every day and that we really take for granted. The next resource is an article that you can get free on internet, and I'll give you a link below the video. It's also in the article. The Values Americans Live By. This is a classic article, and it contains 13 values that the author claims can explain 95% of all American behavior. And I'm hoping that just that will make you curious enough to read it. It is fantastic. Even if you disagree with those values, even if you disagree with half of what he says, you're going to find some amazing, interesting food for thought, and it will help you to better clarify and identify your own cultural values and where you stand in relation to these 13 values. So it's a great tool, and I highly recommend it. Next resource is this book, Americans at Work by Storti. It's actually written for foreigners, but I think that if you are curious after you read that short article, The Values Americans Live By, this is where you're going to find much more information. It's really entertaining, and even if you don't read the whole thing, just pick and choose what you like. You will come away with some real insights, again, especially if you're American. And if you're a foreigner, well, even more. Okay, so we have some great resources for understanding, investigating, finding out why Americans do the things they do. But if you're an American, how can you get more feedback from foreigners, especially about you as an American, an individual American? And one of the best ways I know is inviting an exchange student into your home to live with you for an entire school year. It is an amazing experience. At the beginning, The student might not feel comfortable sharing everything that they're thinking, but as time goes on and you get to know each other, you will get some of the most amazing insights, some of the most interesting questions, and just basically a type of mirror that you can look into and see a whole different side of yourself. It helps you to differentiate between what is really personal and what is cultural, and it might make you redefine how you see yourself as an American. I hope this video helps you get to the bottom of this question. Why do Americans do the things they do? Please leave your comments below. We would love to hear from you. What's your experience with this whole issue? And if you enjoyed this video, feel free to click like and subscribe. You'll get more videos just like this about all aspects of cultural diversity with the aim of making your life more fun and more fascinating.